All right, I'm here with the ESL head guy, Carmac, Michael.
Michał.
I'm always pronounce it wrong. I'm terrible at Polish names. Is it Polish?
Yeah, it's a Polish name. It's Michał, but I'm fine with Michael as well.
Okay. And what was your official position? I always know you're like the head guy, but I don't actually know what you do.
I'm not really the head guy, if you will. I'm the managing director pro gaming, which means I manage close to 50% of all the big pro gaming that we do as a company. And there is another managing director pro gaming. We are actually, I'm blue and he's, what color is he? I think he's black. We have like a code name for, you know, for the games and for the leagues that we share.
And what does he do?
He is actually Kenigit's boss, and he's responsible for Dota. He's responsible for World of Tanks. He's responsible for ESL Pro Series and for Counter-Strike Go.
So he's like the Russian guy.
No, he's not Russian. He couldn't be. He's one of these, in a good way, stereotypical German guys.
Okay. And I mean, obviously, our viewers want to know between you and him, who's better.
And you told me it wouldn't be a mischievous interview.
I'm just asking you serious questions. This is what the public wants to know. Who's better at managing the things that they do? If there was a poll, you can tell me. We won't air this. Who do you think does a better job?
So what kind of answer do you want? Cocky, realistic, funny?
I don't know. Truthful. That's what I want. I want to know the truth. This is where we're hard hitting here.
So I'd say I'm horrible at keeping myself tidy and organized. I'm completely non-German in that sense. I'm kind of a little bit, to use stereotypes, a little bit Chinese that way. But
I'm a very Chinese person. I get it. Yeah.
And then he would be much more organized, and I'd say I'm a tad bit more, let's say, creative and imaginative, where he's more down to earth.
Okay. And you guys have had some big announcements recently. Most notably, the winner-take-all $100,000 IEM Katowice. Craziness, a lot of attention. Are you guys very satisfied with how that went, and what's the how do you anticipate that's going to go?
So overall, the thing is that what we've tried to do for years and years and years is have the flattest possible, not the flattest possible, a flat, relatively flat payout structure for prize money, so that it would support the teams, it would support the players, it would be a much nicer environment to compete in. However, I've noticed after some time that it actually, all the really top players, while looking at which tournaments they want to go to, they were looking at the check for first place, mainly. And they would tell their teams, hey, I want to go there. And it comes down to the fact that a player's self-perception, if you will, that he's fighting for first, second place, and he's not really looking at, you know, fifth, sixth place, what that pays out. So a player like, let's say, Teja would be looking at the #1 spot in a tournament, in a prospective tournament to attend, and he would ask to be flown into that one. And it's a completely understandable point of view for a top player. So I've noticed actually that due to this, we were actually missing out on from every now and then on the players that would theoretically, there's no reason why they wouldn't play, but apparently the prize money wasn't good enough for first, second place. While at the same time, Intel Extreme Masters was a great tournament for everybody that is relying on that sixth, fifth place, because you know what? It's actually a good deal. Even if I lose, I get this and this much money. So all in all, we ended up getting lots of players who are relatively good, but we typically had slightly fewer players that were really, you know, the guys that always aim for first place. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, you wanted a tournament with like all tier 1 guys, basically, right?
Yeah, pretty much. That's the idea. Because at the end of the day, if you think of how, let's say, Liquid Hero here on screen is looking at all of these things, he's looking at first, second place. He doesn't really, the first moment when he thinks about how much is paid for like 7th, 6th places after he loses, and then he's like looking for consolation. So we've noticed that, and then Red Eye actually made the suggestion, hey, let's do winner takes all, make it more hard.
How did it go in the room or whatever? Someone was just like, bucket, 100K first place. Is that how it happened?
Actually, I had the budget sliced out, prize money-wise. It was 100K sliced out for the finals. We didn't announce the details before the beginning of the season, which was in June, July, due to the fact that we have a kind of StarCraft in this esports industry is a bit in flux because of WCS, and we were waiting actually with the announcements for Katowice for Blizzard to establish a set strategy and establish a certain set of standards for WCS events. Once that was done, then we basically said, okay, we're going this way. So we are in the room talking about Intel Extreme Masters. I said, hey, we've got 100K. What do we do? How do we do it? Do we do single elim? Do we do groups? What do we do? And I'm a big fan of really hardcore tournament systems, in the sense that, okay, it's single elimination, not this quadruple elimination, you play six matches in a group and you're still not out, that type of deal, where I'm tired of watching it by the semi-finals. I'm already tired of watching that. I would like to see a world where a quarter-final between two amazing players is actually something you really look forward to, and not something you see thrice over the course of one tournament, actually, because the tournament is built to generate as many matches as possible. So we were talking kind of in that direction, and then Paul suddenly popped up and said, hey, you know what, why don't we do it winner takes all, 100,000? And we all look at each other in the room and we're like, hell yeah, let's do that, because it actually takes the hardcore single elimination concept where there is no second chance, where an actual underdog story is meaningful, rather than, oh, this guy from Latvia knocked out Jaedong, but everybody knows Jaedong will progress through the lower bracket and it's no big deal, and the guy from Latvia will lose to Hyun in the next round. That's not really worthy, kind of. And the guy...
It's not extreme enough, if you will.
Maybe it's not extreme enough.
It's not Intel, softcore masters. We're here for the extreme version of the regular tournament.
Well, what we want to do is generate a really exciting tournament that's talked about, give talking points to the people, and I think, if Jaedong gets eliminated in the first round by Tarsen, for example, that's a huge talking point, way bigger than in any other tournament if Tarsen eliminates Jaedong ever, right? Tarsen eliminates Jaedong in a group stage tournament or whatever, no big deal to anyone ever. Tarsen eliminates Jaedong in the first round of Intel Extreme Masters in Katowice, winner takes all single elimination, huge deal, talked about for a week. So just wanted to create a different tournament, one that would generate excitement.
And you guys got a lot of different feedback among everyone for that. Do you feel that any of the criticisms are warranted, or what steps have you guys taken to make sure that there isn't collusion, any kind of match splitting prize? Are you guys just not worried about that at all, or what's the plan there?
When it comes to collusion, we will send the full 100,000 to the winner. What the winner does, frankly speaking, I don't really care.
I mean, you don't really have much of a way to really enforce that after he gets it, so I see the policy for it.
But I've spoken to players about this. I asked a couple of them specifically, and the questions are, would you share? And not every player would share, especially those with the winning mentality, those that I mentioned before. Some of them might, especially if it's a friend. Second, do you really trust the other guy if the full sum is put on his account? would you trust somebody with, let's say, a controversial reputation to share that prize money?
Naniwa in the finals.
Look, I want the best possible final.
What's the best possible final for you? Let's go ahead. Just tell me what.
My dream final, my wet dream final. I think Naniwa would be in it because he's a foreign hope.
And if he gets second, that's amazing too.
Well, if he gets second, I
look forward to his Twitter.
I'll lock myself in a basement and call people until I know that he's left the building because
he'll go after whoever's there.
No, I'm kidding. I actually Naniwa is different from other players, but I've actually found him.
I know.
I found him to be not as unreasonable as his image, as his public image implies.
What a compliment.
Look, okay. Anybody that knows me, I don't really like to bullshit. So
no, I understand.
So
Naniwa,
dream final,
and then
you change the subject, and I want to talk about the dream final, man.
Okay, hey, you can. This is a safe place. You can talk about whatever you want.
So Naniwa versus either MC or Jaedong would be a great final. I know MC doesn't really feel that warm in his heart when he's thinking of Naniwa.
Yeah, that would be MC versus Naniwa would be seriously amazing. Like, they don't like each other clearly. MC said some stuff about Naniwa not being very good. Either of them losing to the other one in a final that denies them $100,000. And you know, if they're in the final, they're not going to split it. Like, that's
not these two. Not these two.
So that's probably really the dream
exciting
situation.
Prospect. Yeah, I'd say so.
What do you think of the recent swarm host situation in the matches that take so long?
It's I don't know about balance because obviously the best I've ever had in StarCraft was platinum status, so I don't think a platinum player should be talking about balance. But swarm host is not the type of play or strategy that I find enjoyable to watch as a fan. But again, I think you should talk to somebody who's more educated about StarCraft than me.
Well, I think that an opinion of someone that might not be as super educated about the inner strategy of StarCraft, but you're as educated as anyone about watching it, you know? So I think that's a completely legitimate thing. Like, the average fan, you could be not play StarCraft at all, but if you watch it and you think Swarm Host is boring, that's something that people should really take into consideration, you know? I don't think anyone really enjoys.
You used the word boring. I said not very exciting. I mean, actually, you know, every now and then, if you remember the old GSL days on...
Yeah, sometimes it's good. Like, all the time, every game is like...
Yeah, I mean, if it turns out to be an epic stalemate of, 1.5 hours, but based on, like, imagine a PvP of 1.5 hours, that's an epic match. But if there's a strategy that actually favors that type of play every time... from the point of view of somebody that wants a good show, if that happens every time, that's probably not necessarily something I would want to see.
Game 7, $100,000 finals, draw. I see that coming.
That I would like.
What would happen? Keep going? Every single time keep going? Yeah.
I mean, we've had an Intel Extreme Masters where we had 6 or 7... rounds of like round robin rounds
I know what
in a row.
Yeah,
we kept going, man.
Tiebreakers, right?
Tiebreaker. We kept the tiebreaker going.
Awesome.
It was like I went to the catering area and brought the players juice just because I saw them being so exhausted, but I think they wouldn't want it any other way, you know. As a competitor, you want to rely still on yourself, even though you're tired. You want to rely on yourself to progress.
All right, well, that's enough about serious things. How's it like working with James Kennegat? What is it like?
Jim.
Jim? You guys call him Jim?
Nah, I just came up with it recently, and I don't think he actually likes it. He's...
Call him Lampy. That's what you gotta call him. Lampy.
Okay, so Lampy is very creative and very stubborn.
He's like he's from Canada, but he's an American. That's how he thinks. I'm serious. Right? Am I right? Yeah, he is.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
He's very creative and he's stubborn at the same time. So, every person that's really intelligent and knows that they're intelligent will more often than not assume that they're right, and more often than not they are right. Right? It's a question of figuring out when.
He's like a gorilla. He's like a black bear. You gotta fight him on things, and then he'll respect you. You can't just, right?
I don't know. When we were talking about BlizzCon, there were meetings with a group, and it was actually, like he said on a podcast of some kind, I don't remember which, it was me versus Red Eye one day, then Red Eye versus James the other day, and then me versus James another day, all the time. So, and that's completely fine. That actually made a lot of the stuff we've done much better. So as long as the group is able to figure out actually when to not be stubborn and when to actually, when to give in, when to be stubborn about their ideas, I think it's all good. And he hasn't been fired yet, so no, it's working out great. Everybody in the company loves him, and except for his horrible posture when he sits at the desk.
Oh yeah,
there's nothing wrong with it.
What does he sit? Give me. Oh yeah, one of those. He's one of those guys.
He's got these legs crouched in like that, and then his back like completely hunched. I take pictures of him every time when he's not looking.
Okay, all right. And so, change the subject a little bit more. Do you guys have anything planned coming up? Anything you want to tease? It doesn't have to be StarCraft related. You can just any new stuff. You can add some new games.
There will be new stuff, and there will be big stuff, but it falls under Pro Gaming Black.
Okay.
So I'd rather not talk about it. It's not my place to talk about.
Okay. All right. Well, I look forward to hearing about all that stuff. I think we're already crossing a threshold here on this one. We're almost done. So I like you do interviews too. I like those. They're very creative. I think those are pretty funny. How do you still get people that don't know who you are?
I mean, it's relatively difficult these days.
Yeah.
But I mean, not everybody has to know who I am. It's not like I'm famous like Naniwa, for example. Everybody will know what Naniwa looks like, and every now and then I go, people don't recognize me, and that's completely fine. So
my favorite is the Machine one.
Machine?
And he recently retired, so that's my #1 memory of Machine, because he's so nice, and you mistaking him for Idra and that the whole interview, and he's just trying to make it like.
These interviews have a complete. Let's say, underbelly to them, because I prepare them very diligently. For Machine, I actually asked Huck specifically to introduce me, because Huck doesn't have the reputation of the most serious guy. Every now and then he likes a good joke. So I had to plant doubt in Machine's mind, in the sense that
you're a mastermind. You really plan these out, huh?
So Huck made the intros, and he didn't make the intros in where I was in the room, which, when then Machine, I was hoping that Machine, when he had doubts, is this a troll or not, that his logical thought process would lead to Huck misleading me and thinking, oh, this poor bastard, Huck lied to him.
True.
So that's actually, I try to add all these layers of security, get people to legitimize me in a way where people can't really, just walk away and say, oh, you fucking troll, just walk away. Yeah. So I actually put much more thought into it than it seems.
Well, it shows. I really enjoy them. I hope you do a few more.
I would like to, but
if you add a game, let's say you guys add Hearthstone or whatever, you guys will have a whole new bunch of people that don't know who you are. So you can totally just.
I think if we do, if I go to a Dota event, I think I have a good shot at most pro gamers not knowing me.
Yeah.
Except for Reliance and Navi, because I know these guys. I actually trolled one of the, do you know Bogdan? Guy who used to be on the team with Loda and Aka.
No, I don't know that much history about it.
Okay, well, he was on the team, and I got him to say I played Dota for SK 21 times in an interview.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's good.
So, yeah, these guys know me, but I think most of the pros in Dota will not.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to, you know, getting closer to the Dota community, to the Hearthstone community. But unlike with Skara for League of Legends, Skara I interviewed, recorded, and put it online, and then everybody knew about it. I'll probably record like 15 and sit on them.
Yeah, like what's it called? Punked. MTV Punked. They didn't like release any other things, and then now everyone knows what it is, and it's tough. But okay, thank you for your time. I look forward to the rest of this event, and I'm happy I came to Germany. Finally see you guys in action.
I actually had a Hearthstone bet with one of the German Blizzard guys that if I lose a match to him, I have to write an official blog denouncing Polish food and praising the excellence of German food. But
okay.
I chickened out, frankly speaking. I pussied out of the match because I saw that I had no shot.
Well, we can teach you about Hearthstone. We have some people. We have a new Hearthstone site, so you can probably learn stuff. Maybe
play
a little better.
Plugging like a real suit. Well done.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.